Peace to everyone that is watching and, of course, listening to me at this time. I have a very powerful word that I'm going to bless you with. And remember that I'm always releasing these words. You are not watching this message by mistake. You have not clicked on this video by coincidence. There is a reason as to why this message has been recommended to you. And it is a very beautiful day. It is the day that the Lord has made. So let us be glad and rejoice in it. Be glad and rejoice in the day. Because God is about to open doors for somebody. And if God opens for you doors, no man shall shut. If God says yes to you, it doesn't matter who says no. It doesn't matter who fights against you, because the battle is not yours. It belongs to the Lord. Those that are fighting against you are actually fighting against God. And we know God always wins. Today's word is from the book of Genesis chapter 32, verse 24 to 29. Genesis chapter 32, verse 24 to 29. And it reads, Then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. Now when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip. And the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaks. But he said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. So he said to him, What is your name? He said, Jacob. And he said, Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed. Then Jacob asked, saying, Tell me your name, I pray. And he said, Why is it that you ask about my name? And he blessed him there. I love that word. He blessed him there. He blessed him there. Notice that Jacob, the reason as to why he was wrestling with the angel of the Lord was to attain a blessing. He did whatever it took to receive the blessing. See, there are different levels of blessing. It doesn't mean that Jacob was cast. No. It doesn't mean that he was cast. He was attaining a different level of a blessing. The Bible says, Then Jacob was left alone, and the man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. He was left alone. They left him. Some of you, when people leave you, start crying. You start weeping. But it's an opportunity for you to attain a blessing. It's an opportunity for you to develop yourself. Sometimes there are things that you can only achieve when you are alone. Let me repeat it again. Sometimes there are things that you can only achieve when you are all by yourself. When you're in a group of people, when you're surrounded by people in a crowd, there are things that you may never achieve. There are levels that you may never reach in a group. It is only when you are alone. Jacob was left alone. And he wrestled with a man, only to realize that the man was an angel. He had a supernatural power. In fact, for Jacob to wrestle with an angel, it means that Jacob was not a joke. I'm telling you, Jacob was a warrior. Forget about the warriors that we see in today's generation, this dispensation. Jacob was a mighty man of valor. The Bible says, listen to verse 25, to show that Jacob was strong. In fact, to wrestle with an angelic being, you require strength. To show that Jacob was really strong, the Bible says in verse 25, now when he saw who? The angel. When he saw that he did not prevail, can you imagine? When the angel saw that he did not prevail against him, who? Jacob, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint as he wrestled him. And the Bible says, and he said, let me go, for the day breaks. Can you imagine? Jacob held the angel of the Lord. He could not let him go. It was a serious fight, pound for pound, blow for blow. But he said to him, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Jacob realized, see, Jacob was a very powerful man. He had fought battles and actually won them. But he realized that the person he was fighting was not human. Some of you think that everyone you meet is human. No. Jacob had a spirit of discernment. I pray for you that may God give you that spirit of discernment. That instead of fighting God, you are given the power to fight against darkness. Some of you, your rebellion is a fight against God. God has told you to do this, but you're rebellious. You're still thinking, waiting for a confirmation, and yet God has spoken to you. Jacob could not let go until he was blessed. So the angel said to him, what is your name? It's as though the angel did not know his name. He knew his name. But in the heavens, the name Jacob was not recorded. Why? Because it was not a name that had a blessing towards it. This is why the angel, some of you think God is asking you, what is your name? You have been called names that are not yours. When you go to work, someone calls you a name. They give you a pet name. Your family gave you a name that is diabolic, a name that limits you. Names are important. The name that you think is your name is not what God calls you. Or yes, that is what your parents called you. But is it what God calls you? The angel asked Jacob, what is your name? He said, Jacob. Listen what the angel said. The angel said, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. For you have wrestled with God and with men and have prevailed. There and then, his name was changed. His name was changed. Then Jacob asked, saying, tell me your name, I pray. And he said, why is it that you ask about my name? And he blessed him there. He blessed him. The name, the blessing was in a name. Some of your names carry a blessing. To others, your names may carry a curse. You don't know why things happen to you at a specific month. Some of you have a disease, a complication that attacks you at a certain point. It could be because of a name. I pray that God changes your name. I hope this word has blessed you. Until next time, shalom.